Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So this video is going to be a proper accommodation guide for any of the new students who are planning to study in the UK. Here I'll be talking about what are the different accommodations available for a student. What does it mean by a private student accommodation? What does it mean by a university accommodation? How you can find this student accommodations and how you can find a house for yourself in order to rent. So in this video I'll be essentially going to a specific website and I'll be showing you how you can essentially book an accommodation for yourself. So without further ado, let's straight away get started with this video. Right now I'm just on my computer screen. I've just written down University of Strathclyde accommodation. If you have applied for a different university, you can just write University of X, like University of Birmingham, whatever, University of Glasgow essentially, and just end it up with an accommodation. And essentially on the very first link, in this case it's accommodation University of Strathclyde, just click that link and it will be just taking you to the accommodation portal, the accommodations which are available in that specific university. Now sometimes there's a distinction in the accommodation between the undergraduate students versus postgraduate students. Let's say if there's a university, they've got 4 different buildings for student accommodations. The 2 buildings will be dedicated for undergraduate students and the 2 buildings will be dedicated for postgraduate students. So there will be this kind of distinction depending upon the university you've applied for. So I've just selected accommodation for undergraduate students and you can see that they offer 3 different types of room, which is a standard room. You just get a single room, and the other one is the standard room with wash hand basin, and the other one is a standard in-suite room which is a single room but it has got your private bathroom also. So you can see that the rent really differs depending upon the room you select. For example, it's £104 per week for a standard room. For the another one, it's £110 per week. For this one, it's £141 per week. In my opinion, I will say you, especially in Glasgow, since I'm staying in Glasgow, my personal opinion would be £110 per week is a decent rent if you're looking for an accommodation in Glasgow itself. So this was all about the university accommodations. These are privately owned, and in order to apply, just click on this apply now button and you'll be able to register yourself for a specific room essentially. So this is how you kind of book an accommodation which is owned by the university. So now in the second part, I want to talk about how you can book a private accommodation for yourself. Now essentially, like before in 2018 when I came, that time you used to search for an accommodation, let's say University of Strathclyde private accommodation close to it, right? You used to go to Google and do the specific search. Whereas now there's a platform called Amber Students which has really made life simpler for the students. Essentially there's a link mentioned in the description box below, and this is the way I will myself prefer in order to book a accommodation, because right now I'm staying in a private accommodation. I'm not staying in a university accommodation. And okay, I'll make it clear, because the university accommodation, my personal experience is the rooms are very small in the university accommodation. Even the ceiling height isn't really decent. In this one you get a big decent ceiling size, has a big kind of spacious room, and essentially the rent for this room is £110 per week. But I also get a privately owned washroom, whereas in the university accommodation I had to pay £141 per week, which is expensive. So the private accommodations are generally more cheaper with more better facilities. And secondly, in my experience in the university accommodation which I personally stayed, it had the living room and the kitchen in the same place, and that was very congested. Whereas here the living room and the kitchens are really spacious, and it can, you know, kind of for example, we are 4 people who are staying and sharing. We can comfortably manage ourselves. We can distribute, like, okay, this cupboard is for you, this cupboard is for you, this fridge space is for you, and etc. So I definitely recommend private accommodation. So in order to find a private accommodation, as you can see on your screen, I'm on the website of Amber Students. Essentially click on my link in the description box below. You'll be able to get to this accommodation, and it is just a marketplace essentially for you. Okay, they have put all the accommodations for you in one specific place. So here, let's say I'm looking for an accommodation in Glasgow. Okay, I just put Glasgow over here and I can just see, okay, there's Blackfields available, there's Havana House available, there's like a lot of accommodations which are available. So as you can see, like, this is accommodation which is kind of really cheap, which is £112 per week. And if you remember, in the university we got an accommodation which was £110 per week, which gave us hand wash basin. Now let's have a look on this one. I'll explain you what's the magic. So now this accommodation, which is just £112 per week, I mean, most of it is sold out. So I mean, because I'm recording this video in the month of May, if I can remember correctly. Yes, it's May. And you know, the main thing about private accommodation is make sure you book them as soon as possible. But I mean, if you have booked this accommodation on time, for £112 per week, you'll be also getting your privately owned washroom. This is a room which I'm personally staying in right now at the moment, whereas in my university accommodation I was being charged the same price, but I was not getting the private bathroom. For private bathroom, I had to pay £140 per week. So you can see what I talked just in action over here. So this was just an example of one private accommodation which has been sold out. For example, you cannot book it for 51 week or 33 week. So because you know, this is one of the cheapest accommodation also. But whereas if you go to, let's say, some other accommodation, let's say St. Mungo's, you'll be able to see yourself a room. So for example, you can book 44 weeks, 51 week contract, and essentially click on this button called book now, and you will be able to book the accommodation. And the other good thing about the Amber Student, the reason for recommending this is it also gives you personal assistance for free. Essentially, if you just click my link, as I said in the description box below, and you can just fill in your name, email address, country, and you can just submit. So they will be able to give you personal assistance also. They can help you which accommodation is most suitable for you. If you've got some special request that I want this kind of room, that kind of room, I want some of my friends to be in that specific accommodation, they will be more than happy to help you with the personal assistance, which is again available for free, and they just respond within 1 hour. So again, this is again another kind of the way you can look for a private accommodation which is owned by a private company, not owned by university. But this is the private accommodation is something which I'll be kind of recommending you to go ahead and book. So the third way of finding an accommodation is through a website called Spare Room, and this is a way how you can find a house for yourself. Let's say if you want a room in a specific house, how you can find this is through Spare Room. Because I've got a decent experience of Spare Room, because last year I went to Newcastle to do my placement internship for 1 year, and I was able to find my room, the house, through Spare Room website. And I would say it is kind of trusted website. It is like secure, I will say you, because I have personally used it myself. Okay, so essentially what you can do is you can do your search based upon the area or postcode. Let's say your university is in London or Glasgow, put London or Glasgow, but my recommendation would be you should be knowing the address of university and filter down your search based upon the postcode. Okay, let's say you go to Google, you go to University of Strathclyde, it will be showing you the address. There will be a postcode. Write down that postcode over here. Let's say it's G4ODS, just a random one, and search for it. So you can see again large double bedroom available for rent in a house which is £500 per month. And again, there will be another rooms which are available. This is 2 room available in West End flat. So you can see there are like a lot of different advertisements which the landlords have kind of advertised. There's a cozy room available in spacious townhood flat, again £335 per month. So again, these are again great offers which you can look for in order to get a house. So this is the third way which I wanted to like show the guys who want to actually book a house in the UK, and Spare Room is a website which you can go and book an accommodation. Well, these were the 3 different ways I want to explain you about the student accommodation, how you can find them. And the other ways could be you can go to the Facebook. You can, let's say, you can write accommodations in UK, and there are a lot of people who actually advertise that there is a room available in a house, there's a private accommodation available. Again, you can join their specific groups on the Facebook, and you will be able to find an accommodation. And also I want to mention here that if you are in the very first year of your university, if you're going, let's say, some master's degree, my personal recommendation from all of these 3 different routes will be the private accommodation. Okay, because in the private accommodation, first of all, as compared to student accommodation, it's more cheaper, it's got more facilities. Sometimes in the private accommodation you can also get a gym, you can get indoor gaming facilities, you can get a cinema, you can get a library also, not library, essentially silent zone where you can study with your friends and the mates. So I will definitely recommend you the private accommodation from all of these different routes which I have explained over here. However, if you've got a really kind of narrow tight budget, then go for a room in a house which you can find through Spare Room website. So with this, I hope this video was fruitful, this video was informative. Again, check out the link which is mentioned in the description box below for MBA students. I hope this video was informative. We'll see you in my next video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Cheers, bye bye.